Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakarkadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered in the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a news article from ArabNews.com, and it reads, Militants kills 8 soldiers in a northwest Syrian monitor. It says 8 Syrian soldiers were killed in the country's northwest on Wednesday in an attack carried out by a Hayat Tahrir al-Sham militant group, a war monitor report. It says the HTS fired shells and rockets at a Syrian military post, killing 8 soldiers, the Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said. The Elbe region is home about 3 million people, around half of them displaced. And it says 8 Syrian soldiers were killed in the country's northwest on Wednesday in the attack carried out by the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham militant group, a war monitor report. The HTS fired shells and rockets at a Syrian military post, killing 8 soldiers near the Kefra Rum in Idlib Providence. The Britain-based Syria Observation for Human Rights says the HTS is headed by an ex-member of the Syrian former Al-Qaeda franchise. The Syrian state media did not immediately report the attack. About half of the northwestern province of Idlib, the areas bordering the neighboring province of Hamala, Aleppo, and Latika are dominated by the HTS and other rebel factions. And it says the Idlib region is home about 3 million people, around half of them displaced. Observatory head Ramari Abdul Rahman told the AFP that since the end of 2022, the militants have intensified operations regime forces in Idlib in the context of rapprochement between Anarcha and Damascus. It had exchanged fire and clashes. Regional forces and militant factions have killed 63 people since the start of the year. 45 of them pro-regime forces. One of them, 18 militants, were a French national. Ankara became a sworn enemy of Damascus when it began backing rebels' efforts to top Assad at the start of the civil war. But in late December, the Defense Ministry of Turkey said and Syria held landmark negotiations in Moscow, the first such meeting since 2011. The mooted coalition has alarmed Syria opposition leaders and supporters who reside mostly in parts of the war-torn country. Ankara's indirect control. President Bashar Assad said in January that a Moscow broken rapprochement with Turkey should aim for the end of occupation by the Ankara parts of Syria. Turkey has military bases in northern Syria and backed some local groups fighting the regime and against Syrian Kurdish forces, which considers a organization groups. Ankara has never publicly backed hardline groups HTS, but is believed to coordinate with its forces. The HTS, which sanctions by the UN as a organization formally broke ties with Al Qaeda in 2016 and incorporated a number of smaller Syrian rebel factions in a major rebranding effort. Widely seen as the strongest and best organized Syrian rebel groups, it has presented itself as a mainstay of serious opposition. With Russia and Iran support, Damascus has clawed back much of the ground lost in the early stages of Syria's conflict, which erupted in 2011 when Assad government brutally repressed pro-democracy protests. The war was the war has killed nearly 500,000 people since it broke out over a decade, displacing almost half of Syria's pre-war population. Despite periodic clashes and ceasefire reached by 2020, the Moscow and Turkey has largely held in the northwest region. I'm trying to see if this recent. Oh, that's old. Slovakia. This is the latest right here. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. Luke 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Let's see what verse 8 says. Salakia. So that's what we're seeing, commotions of wars between nations, right, between different nations and different organization groups clashing against one another. And that's what we're seeing with this latest news article that happened over there in the northwest region of Syria, as tensions continue to increase in that region, especially the northwest and the eastern region of Syria. Seeing a lot of intentions between different organization factors and different clan clashes increasing with different organization factors in that region. As you see right here, Militants kills 8 soldiers in a northwest Syria. It says 8 Syrian soldiers were killed in a country's northwest on Wednesday in an attack carried out by a Hayat Tahrir al-Sham militant group, a war monitoring report. So that's a commotion of war between different nations and different organization factors. That's what we're seeing. Clashes with one another in the same country. Different rebel clashes, which is continuing increasing. On and off ongoing clashes, which leads to wars and commotions against one another, just like I brought out Luke 21 and 9. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying, as this news article that I just read from ArabNews.com, as militants kill 8 soldiers, which is, I believe, the Syrian soldiers in the northwest region of Syria. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakar Double honors to the elders for preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And Shalom to the Akim, scattered through 4 corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And Shalom to the Akim, scattered through 4 corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say Shalom.